welcome fellow foolish mortals to the most foolish channel on the internet. Today I have vamped myself up a little bit to a point where I look a little bit undead, and I'm also wearing my Pickle Mix top, Madame Leota, and you can use the code FoolishPickle for 10% off all of your Disney top needs. They've got a huge selection, so definitely go and check them out and remember to use that code. So today I'm going to be talking about the Phantom Manor story. So if you don't know what the Phantom Manor is, then that is a Disney attraction in Disneyland Paris. So it's almost like the Mystic Manor or Haunted Mansion for Disneyland Paris. It's their version of the story. And where there are some similarities to the Haunted Mansion, it is mostly different. So what I'm going to do is just talk you through the story in full. Of course, this will be a slightly different video to normal today because it is more about the story behind an attraction in general. I'm going to be using a website called hauntedmansion.fandom as my sort of reference for this. There is a lot of the story out there, some have slightly different versions, but this is based on the latest version of this story. So if you didn't know, the Phantom Manor does tie into another attraction at Disneyland Paris, which is actually the whole Thunder Mesa in general, including Big Thunder Mountain. And so I'll talk about that as well. So Henry Ravenswood, he was a settler and he owns the Phantom Manor, and then he founded the Big Thunder Mining Company in the city of Thunder Mesa. So that is sort of Frontierland as a whole. So of course, after striking gold in Thunder Mesa on Big Thunder Mountain, Henry then built his Phantom Manor on a hill, and that is a big Victorian manor. And it overlooks Thunder Mesa, where he raised his family, and he has a wife called Martha and a daughter named Melanie Ravenswood. So it was believed as well that Big Thunder Mountain was actually home to a Native American powerful spirit called the Thunderbird. So anyone who was to disturb Big Thunder Mountain in general would have the wrath of the Thunderbird. So Melanie obviously grew into a lovely young girl, and she ended up finding a suitor. So there was 4 men that actually courted Melanie. However, all 4 seemed to have an unfortunate fate. It's quite amusing as well because each of these suitors actually died according to their names. So for instance, Captain Rowan D. Falls actually ended up going over a waterfall. Ignatius Iggy Knight, he was blown up by dynamite. And then Barry Claude, well, he was mauled to death by a bear. The Barry Claude, did you get the, yeah. I love Disney and their little puns. And then Sawyer Bottom, I don't even know how that went. He was killed in a sawmill, so he was tied to a conveyor of, on a log, and he was sawed. But it's so strange as well because their names are also not only incorporated with their deaths but also their job. For instance, with Captain Rowan D. Falls, he was the captain of the Mark Twain riverboat. Ignatius Iggy Knight, he was a dynamite manufacturer. And then, I don't really know what Barry Claude did, or Barry Claude. I don't know what he did, but he was mauled to death, so R.I.P. And then Sawyer Bottom, he was the owner of the Thunder Mesa sawmill. So Melanie of course thought that she was completely doomed to have a completely lonely life. I mean, after having 4 of your suitors die related to their names, I think all of us would probably think that maybe we were a little bit cursed, potentially. But she ended up falling in love again, and she became engaged to a train engineer. So he actually planned to take her far, far away from Thunder Mesa. So obviously Henry didn't like this, and he did everything that he could to stop the wedding. His attempts were actually put to a stop when there was a big earthquake in Thunder Mesa, and it killed both him and his wife Martha. So it seemed that the Thunderbird had awakened, and then after several years of when this earthquake happened by this Thunderbird, Melanie was getting ready in her room, preparing for the wedding. The Phantom, we don't know who this is yet, lured her suitor up into the attic and hanged him by the neck. So Melanie awaited in the ballroom, waiting for her suitor to arrive. There was no groom. Eventually the guests sort of moved away and filed out, and she was left alone. And then she said, someday he will come. She started wandering around still in her wedding dress, singing songs of lost love. However, the Phantom, he was still lurking in the house. He was absolutely loving this and laughing as she sort of descended into madness. And one after another, he then invited the dead to come and join in a sick party at the house, filling her house with the afterlife. So this became an eternal party, and the shape of the house was slowly transformed by evil forces. So as the years passed, inside and outside the manor decayed. The manor was once beautiful, but it decayed as years went on. Dusts and cobwebs, they covered every inch of the house. And the staff of the house ended up leaving as Melanie had lost her mind. So she would wander around the house every day, year in, year out, singing the songs of her lost love and still waiting for her groom, whilst around her all of the ghosts, the dead and the demons just danced around and had a party. Melanie never actually did figure out why he left. The entire place became abandoned after the earthquake as well, and it was eventually called Phantom Canyon, and anyone who entered the old town never actually came back. And today no one even knows if Melanie Ravenswood is still alive on top of that old hill, or whether she's joined the dead. She must be well over 100 years old. Say some nights when the moon is full and the sky is clear of clouds, you can still hear the lonely mourning of the bride and the maniacal laughter of the Phantom. And you want to know who the Phantom is? Let's have a guess. It's Henry Ravenswood, and this was sort of confirmed in the new reopening of the attraction. So what happens is there is a corridor and with lots of paintings, and as the lightning strikes, the paintings change for that split of a moment, and the one with Henry Ravenswood, he turns into the Phantom, or the traditional way we know the Phantom. Not a very supportive father, really. Also in the Phantom Manor, as you go around, so you start in the queue section and you see now the bride at the top of the stairs looking out at the storm, and you get in your two little doom buggies and it takes you through corridors and such with gags. I don't want to give it too much away, but you do also have Madame Leota there, of course, and I'll talk you through what she says. I won't do the French bit because I don't know the French bit. Goblins and ghoulies, creatures of fright, we summon you now to dance through the night. Warlocks and witches, answer this call. Your presence is wanted at the ghostly ball. Join now the spirits in nuptial doom, a ravishing bride and a vanishing groom. Did I do the Madame Leota thing? It's such a cool effect as well when she's all floaty. So obviously I think that that's really cool, and you also go into the ballroom scene, which is amazing. It's done really cleverly with an effect that they call Pepper's Ghost. I don't want to give too much away if you don't know how it's done, but if you want to look into Pepper's Ghost, then absolutely feel free. I'm sure most people actually know how that's done now, but it's very similar to the Haunted Mansion one, I suppose. And of course you do go into the graveyard as well, and you've got the the traditional singing head busts too, which is always really fun. Of course you have the mayor as well of the town that says, "Welcome, foolish mortals." So I'm sure you guys knew that, and of course the ghost host says it in Haunted Mansion as well. So I do love the aesthetic so much, and there of course is so many puns and play on words, which I think is really incredible. As you exit the attraction as well, you hear hurry back, don't forget to bring your death certificate, we've been dying to have you. So I just love those sort of things, and then you can go out into the graveyard afterwards and see all of the puns on the gravestones, and I think it's really incredible. It obviously takes a very morbid, strange subject and turns it almost into whimsy, but also enjoyable, and the aesthetic is amazing. So I do enjoy that Phantom Manor does have the story linked to it, because I know that Haunted Mansion doesn't really have the story in the same way that Phantom Manor does. And to my knowledge, Mystic Manor also does have a story. So I believe that Phantom Manor and Mystic Manor are the only two that actually have solid stories that carry them through. And it's definitely good for all ages. I mean, you go into your doom buggies in the exact same way that you would do it in Haunted Mansion as well. You know, there's little carts that go along on a track and then turn you to look at the correct things the Bride wants you to look at. However, with Haunted Mansion, when I was 7 years old, I completely bawled about that. I cried so much in the queue because I genuinely thought we were going to die. And then when I saw the hanging man, I was like, well, I guess this is my fate now. And I remember holding on to the bar of the doom buggy, even though it is just, you just go through, there's nothing thrilling on the track itself. But I genuinely thought we were going to die, and I just accepted that the Phantom was just going to kill us in that moment, I suppose, or the ghost host, or whatever I thought it was at the Haunted Mansion. So do be aware if you've got little ones that it could be initially quite scary for them, but it is definitely fun for all ages. So I hope that you liked my telling or retelling of the Phantom Manor. If you didn't know the story before, then maybe it helps a little now. Of course, with Phantom Manor, you do get the stretching room scene with the portraits and partially in French, so that can be sometimes a little bit difficult because you might feel like you've missed out on some of the story, but I believe they just sort of say it in a kind of different way. But I really find the stories overly immersive. Some people don't really listen to the story and they just sort of enjoy just the ride and the puns and fun animatronics and such. Do let me know if you liked this video or you'd like some more sort of background stories of different attractions or what you'd like to see, then please do let me know. And let me know as well if you like Phantom Manor or if you prefer Haunted Mansion to Phantom Manor or the other way around. Do let me know that as well in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate all of your continued support. If you're not already subscribed, then feel free to go down and click that button now, and you may as well just click the button next to it, which is a like button as well, whilst you're down there. Same area, isn't it? So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a magical day. Bye!